We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back, all become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back for you with another new part of What If Izuku Had a Keyblade. This is part 12. In the last part, we went over that of the cavalry battle of the first year sports festival, with all the teams being the same, however, being a lot more different though. With Izuku not being the rider this time, but instead being one of the horses that their team needed a lot more. Instead of playing defensively, they would play more aggressively while also still playing defensively as well, trying to make that a mix of a balance between the two. However, Bakugo's team, on the other hand, it stayed the same as well. However, it seemed a lot more unstable, mainly because of the rider itself. As Bakugo's darkness and hatred for Izuku begins to grow even more and more, even to the point when Monoma interfered in between that of Izuku and Bakugo and started, insulting him, he unleashed that of a horde of unversed onto that of everybody from Class 1B, even those who are already out of the competition, and yet Izuku having to step in, take out the unversed, and hoping to take out Bakugo. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case, with the Master of Masters telling Nezu that Izuku would be able to handle it, but also making Nezu at least a little bit skeptic on who the supposed Master of Masters is towards Izuku. And not only that, even that of the teachers of UA are worried about Bakugo, thinking that he has more than one quirk. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? A few minutes have now passed since, the cavalry battle has come to an end, with many of the, spectators alongside the pros and even that of the students that didn't even want to take part in the sports festival completely and utterly shocked and surprised. Some were basically hyped and excited for more, while some are worried and a bit skeptic on how things are going during the sports festival, especially when it came to Bakugo. As many of the pros that basically saw the sports festival go on, all of them believed that Bakugo only had that an explosion quirk. But now knowing that he has a quirk that allows him to summon that of crazy monsters that basically attacked everybody from Class 1B and besides those from Class 1A, it just made things a little bit more, worried. Heck, some even people who made comments that the guy has more of a villainous personality given his aggressiveness and how willing he was to just sick his little quirk-based monsters onto all those from Class 1B, even though the actions of just a few of them, basically painting Bakugo more and more as that of a loose cannon, and possibly if he didn't have that of a flashy or powerful quirk, he wouldn't possibly get any offers whatsoever. Also, speaking of the Ashen Blonde, while he was basically being forced to that the infirmary, Midnight made sure to use that of her quirk on him as soon as Cementos was able to bind him together, and that of his special made Cement, that wouldn't explode instantly from one of his explosions. While knocked out, they were able to carry him to the infirmary properly without any, negative repercussions. Not only that, while they were making it to the infirmary, both Recovery Girl 13 and even that of Ectoplasm made sure to gather that of multiple machines, certain machines that will help them wonder on how the hell did Bakugo has more than one quirk. Hell, this even brought up that of All Might of all people, as of course when somebody having more than one quirk in their eyes shows up and being one of their students, that All Might couldn't help but think about one man who may be still alive to this day. Finally arriving into that of the infirmary with Recovery Girl saying, please bring the dearie here. Not only that, need to make sure to doubly knock him out. With then soon All Might saying, is that truly necessary? With then Recovery Girl giving that of All Might a deadpan look, saying, you saw what the poor boy was doing back in the last event. He was pretty aggressive, and within soon Cementos spoking up, saying he was pretty defiant on not letting him go. Not only that, while I was leaving, the direction he was heading to was heading straight for that of Midoriya. This all ties back to him and to their past. With then Midnight couldn't help but sigh, saying, I looked over their transcripts a little, just skimmed over them. They both come from the same middle school. But to think that and not only that, even from Aizawa, who basically suspended him on that of the second day, it shows many of the students commented that he tried to attack Midoriya again. Everything basically ties back to him. As Ectoplasm enters into that of the infirmary alongside Aizawa, and even that of Principal Nezu, who nobody knows is aware, given that he's actually inside of Aizawa's scarf, with Ectoplasm saying, could Midoriya be taunting him in some way? Within soon, Aizawa couldn't help but sigh and shake his head, saying, from what I've seen and everybody else's testimonies, it seems Midoriya has always been more the courteous one and not even trying, if anything. All he's been doing is just being that of a student of UA. If he wasn't a bit of a problem child, Bakugo's basically is getting closer and closer to that spot. But he's more of a problematic child than anything. As Aizawa glares at Bakugo, however, the glare is more of a, sympathetic and worried look to him. With then soon All Might saying, but even so, how did young Bakugo awaken another quirk? After asking this question, both Recovery Girl, Midnight, and 13, but all three of them are trying to do tests on that of Bakugo, with that of his blood, checking out his body, given the, dark aura that basically waves off of him, and see any slight changes to him as well. With then, President Nezu finally coming out of Aizawa's wrapped scarf, then saying, that's exactly what I'm curious about too. However, it seems that somebody was aware of Bakugo's condition. With then, soon everybody seeing that of the chimera-looking principal of UA. With then, Aizawa saying, you mentioned that on the way here, sir. Could you explain? With then, Nezu getting out of that of Aizawa's scarf, landing on the ground while dusting himself off, and then saying, a man came to my room a little while ago. He was wearing that of a black coat. The same black coat that the newly vigilante that has been around for almost a year now, the Key Warrior has now been recently wearing. Within hearing that, everybody was on edge, think that the vigilante, the Key Warrior, was on grounds. Within Nezu raising up his paw saying, now, don't worry, it wasn't the actual Key Warrior. It was somebody that seems to be affiliated with him. Within soon, everybody a little bit off guard, a little bit less on edge, but still a bit on edge, seeing that somebody was able to get by that of the 20 pros that are currently on security duty right now, patrolling the entirety of the arena of the sports festival. With then saying, I was confused too. However, he appeared in that of a dark portal. Not in the same similarities as that of Kurogiri from that of the League of Villains, but something similar. When I was about to call to put an end to that of the sports festival to you, Kayama, but instead he told me to stop and say that somebody else would be able to handle it instead. Within hearing that, everybody was on completely caught off guard that the man said that somebody was able to handle it. Before, each and every one of the teachers' eyes widening, with many of them thinking, with only a select few speaking out being that of All Might, Cement Toss, and Midnight, saying, Midoriya. Within, Nezu basically nodding, saying, yes, he knows. It seems he said that he is the master of Izuku Midoriya, which means he is the one that trained Izuku Midoriya how to use his quirk. Within All Might saying, well, this man trained young Midoriya how to use his quirk, but it almost seems like there are some things about his quirk that he still doesn't know about. Within soon, Aizawa was saying that's why us teachers here at UA help them figure out the ways to help them improve their quirks. Even though they've had their quirks all their lives, some kids find don't even know about separate aspects to their quirks without realizing it too late until they become either pro heroes or civilians and they find out in that of precarious situations. Within, everybody can help but on nerve. But then soon, Ectoplasm saying, so this man trained that of Midoriya, and yet he knew about the creatures that Bakugo was able to summon. Did he say anything about them, sir? Within, Nezu shaking his head saying, unfortunately, no. All he said that they're basically creatures that won't be able to be taken down so easily. If anything, he said that Midoriya would be the only one to bring down Bakugo before it's too late. Within, all the teachers can help but feel a little bit unease about this. Within, soon, All Might saying, does this man have some kind of connection to? Or, within, soon, Nezu saying, I didn't get to a chance to even ask that, All Might. However, the man acted quite goofy, but then when I basically brought up that of him and Midoriya, alongside Bakugo as well, he became quite serious, saying the only way to save Bakugo is to have the two of them fight. So, while we're waiting on the test, I should make a suggestion with then everybody on the waiting for anticipation on what Nezu basically saying, within saying, we have Midoriya and Bakugo fight each other in the first round of the sports festival. Within, everybody off basically completely shocked. Within, Aizawa saying, sir, I normally don't like to bring up the things that you do. Normally, they sound ridiculous. However, they always end up being right in the very end. But this has to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're basically listening to the very words of a stranger, even if this stranger may be the teacher of Midoriya that trained him how to use his quirk. This still doesn't bring up the fact that he was able to sneak into one of the most secured location in all of Japan right now, being the UA Sports Festival. This being the second to that of Tartarus right now. Within soon, Nezu saying, I agree. However, I won't do it just yet. We still have at least a good few minutes before the third event begins, after all. Before that, I would like to know this from that of Midoriya's side of things. Within soon, seeing that recovery girl saying, this can't be happening. This has to be some kind of mistake. Within, looking at the elderly pro, as all the pros can help but look a little bit worried at her. Within, All Might saying, what is it, recovery girl? What is young Bakugo's quirk? Within saying, that's the thing. He doesn't have a second quirk. Within, everybody completely, utterly caught off guard. All of them saying, but that's impossible. Within 13, looking at the results as well, saying there's no abnormalities to his body whatsoever. There hasn't been any signs of changes to him either. The only thing that seems to be completely different is that his body seems to be a lot more stressed out. There's a lot more, he seems to be a lot more on edge, if anything. From looking at the palms of his hands, there seems to be that of nail markings in it, showing that he's basically been, well, scratching himself and basically and stabbing himself with his own nails, causing them to even that of slightly bleed in the process. Looking at his eyes, it also shows that he's also, well, has that of bags under his eyes too, showing that he's barely gotten any sleep whatsoever. Whatever this is, it's causing him a lack of sleep and less being healthy. And within midnight, also bringing this up, saying, and the worst part is, the angrier he gets, his blood sugar continues to skyrocket. If he continues to be this angry, or whatever is happening to him continues to go on, he could go through that of a heart attack, through that of pure rage. Within hearing all of this, everybody couldn't help but feel a little bit worried. With then Cementos saying, I don't like to speculate, but could this be some kind of disease by any chance? Within everybody looking at the blockheaded teacher. Like I said, I don't want to basically cause any unnecessary rumors, but it's just that this all doesn't make any sense. The boy should have that of a secondary quirk if that was the case, and yet he doesn't. And yet now he's suffering from that of multiple deficiencies as well. It's just too convenient, don't you all agree? With then hearing all of this, Cementos does bring up some points here and there, but it's still too early to say. Within soon, All Might internally thinking that Cementos may be reaching there, but to All Might, what's more important to him is that he's glad that young Bakugo doesn't have a secondary quirk, which means that All for One isn't involved. However, what now really worries him is that the man in the black coat, the man that has the connection to that of young Midoriya, and possibly has some connection to why Bakugo was able to create those monsters as well. Due to this, it's causing a lot of teachers a bit of stress. Within soon, Aizawa was saying, we have time, right? I need to go and speak to Midoriya as soon as I can. Within soon, Nezu saying, try not to be too rough on him. And if anything, I would prefer if you bring him back to us. I would like to get his side of the story from that of, and without feeling like you're basically giving him the third degree. Would you, Aizawa? Hearing this from his boss and his superior, Aizawa wanted to give that of his quirked eyes to that of his superior, but instead decided to take a side, saying, promise, which room would you want us to use? Hearing that, Nezu still couldn't help but give out his eternal smile as he always does, within telling him the room to meet them at. Speaking of the certain greenette, as he was basically grabbed by that of Todoroki, as the two have the same conversation that they would have in canon. However, instead of being around All Might, it's being somebody completely, utterly different. Within Shoto saying, your quirk, it's similar to that of the vigilante that has been making a name for himself all across Japan, actually. Within, Izuku's eyes widening in shock, saying, wait, does he know? Does he know that I am the Key Warrior? Within, Shoto saying, it has to be, are you somehow the brother to that of the Key Warrior? Within, soon, Izuku could help but having that of a look of complete and utter deadpanness, with even that of a look of complete and utter bewilderness as well. Within saying, I'm sorry, what? Within saying, it's the Key Warrior brother, or possibly any other relative like a cousin, maybe even an uncle. Within, Izuku basically wanting to laugh, while also mentally sighing in relief about the fact that Shoto did not know the fact that he is the Key Warrior, and is basically thank God for that. Within saying, you're really something else, Todoroki. You know that? Within, soon. Todoroki saying, I'm being serious, saying, I figured that. It's it's ridiculous, but I figured. Within, soon saying, no, I'm not related to the Key Warrior. Our quirks are very similar, but we're not related, not one bit. Within hearing this, Shoto, not really, convinced, but deciding just to leave things be, saying, if you say so. After that, saying, so if that's all you wanted to ask, I'll be going now. Within, soon. But Shoto saying, not really. Throughout this entire event, you've been winning at least in each and every one of the events. Your quirk is so versatile, it's basically utterly scary. You're even able to amplify that of Tokoyami's quirk, while also making sure he kept it in control as well. It almost makes it seem like you're already a top 10 pro in the making. Not only that, back at the USJ, you were even somebody that was able to even knock back All Might, the number one pro, our symbol of peace, without even batting an eye in that little berserk state of yours. Within, soon Izuku saying, what's your point? Within, Shoto getting annoyed saying, my point is, are you a product of a quirk marriage by any chance? Within, soon, Izuku's eyes widening and out of shock saying, what? No, I'm not a product of a quirk marriage. If anything, quirk marriages are basically illegal. Well, depending on the region of Japan you're in, though. With then Shoto saying, Masafu is part of Tokyo, and Tokyo is in that of the Kento region. If you live here in Kento, quirk-related marriages are not illegalized. So that means, within, Izuku saying, with wide open eyes saying, you're a quirked marriage child, aren't you, Todoroki? Within, saying, yes, I am. I'm the fourth out of that of three other children. Did you know that Endeavor always wanted to be the number one hero, wanted to be on the top of the billboards, surpass All Might, but instead he was unable to. So, his best idea? Deciding to have a child that would be able to surpass All Might instead. My siblings were basically failures in his eyes, where I'm considered his masterpiece. You would think being the son of the number 2 pro would be that of lucky, or I would be able to have that of the greatest life of ever. But in fact, it was nothing but hell. Not just for me, but for everybody else as well. Especially for my mother. As Shoto goes into detail about his past, and about the reason why he refuses to use his left side, being his fire, and why he will surpass All Might without his flames, and why he will win the sports festival while just using his ice alone. Within hearing all of this, Izuku couldn't help but feel both sympathy, sadness, rage, and also annoyance. He couldn't help but feel sad for that of Shoto. He couldn't help but feel sympathy for his family. He can't help but feel rage against that of Endeavor. But most importantly, he can't help but feel annoyed at Shoto. That's all I wanted to tell you. I plan on beating you, Bakugo, and everybody else with just my right side. So I'm basically telling you to give it your all in the next match against us. Will I take you down then? As Shoto was about to walk away, within soon bringing out that of the Almighty, within placing it right in front of Shoto, within saying, you got a lot of nerve, Todoroki. Within soon, Shoto, completely caught off guard by that of Izuku's tone, saying, you got a lot of nerve basically dumping all of that onto me and expect me to just stay quiet after just saying your reasons behind your declaration of war and giving me your life story. Because to be honest, I feel sorry for you. I truly do. And you have my sympathy, you and your family. And honestly, and now my love for Endeavor has basically gone down at least quite a bit, now knowing everything you've gone through. And your family, under him. But I will say I am annoyed and quite damn pissed at you, though. Within, soon, Shoto's eyes widening a little bit in surprise, but then saying, holding yourself back this far just to prove a point to your father? holding yourself back this much just so you can piss him off? Do you have any idea how much people are giving it their all here at this sports festival? How much they want to prove that they can become pros? That they can become heroes? When you have a quirk like yours, even if the method behind it is completely and utterly despicable, many people in this world would basically do anything to have a quirk like yours. Nay, they would even kill to have a quirk like yours. And seeing you basically squander it, not push it to its greatest potential, just sickens me. Do you have any idea how much I have to go through to even use my Keyblade? Do you know how much training, how much pain, and how much suffering I had to do just to even get to the level I am now? And now knowing this, you really expect me to just go all out against you just to satisfy your own ego? Within hearing all that, Shoto couldn't help but get annoyed at Izuku. Even though he opened up about his past and everything, instead of feeling sympathy or at least try to understand where he's coming from, instead he's basically just insulting him over and over again, with even saying that he refuses, even telling him over and over again that he refuses to use his father's quirk. He refuses to use that bastard's fire. You may think you had a hard life growing up. I can understand that. But there are people in this world who have been through hell is just as much as you. Remembering all of the heartless and nobodies. The reason what made them became heartless and nobodies. What made them turn into the monsters that basically hungered for hearts and sank into the darkness. To the beings that basically became nothing but empty husk, jealous of the people who exist, while they are basically husk of people who no longer exist in this world. He's seen people like them before, and yet, sooner or later, if Shoto stays on this path, he's going to turn exactly into that of a heartless, and then he's going to create that of a nobody. And sooner or later, Izuku will find him and possibly put him down. And even if that's the case, maybe that's a good thing for him. Finding out that many people are able to come to that of a realization on how they should change their lives and how things should be better and moving forward with their life after becoming whole once again. But to Izuku, it's better to realize this sooner before having to die basically 3 times over. Izuku's terms, at least. With then, soon, Shoto saying, "You may think you have some nerve, Midoriya. You really do. I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to take you down. Simple as that. Don't expect any sympathy from me once we fight each other." Within soon, Izuku couldn't help but continue getting annoyed and angry at Shoto. Within wonder how Kachan's doing. As Izuku's also walking out of the alleyway and heading back to that of the arena before they can basically announce that of the third event, while also getting ready, while many other people are basically getting ready to get some lunch as well. Within soon, Izuku will stop saying, "Midoriya, could you come with us?" Within soon, hearing the voice of his homeroom teacher, he couldn't help but feel a little bit on edge, saying, "Sir, I understand if you need me for something, but can it wait? I really want to go to the cafeteria and get something. We just need to make this quick. The sooner you comply, the faster this will go." As looking at his teacher's face with basically a look of just comply already. Within, Izuku couldn't help but sigh, saying, "Fine. I understand, sir. Please lead the way." With that, the two basically heading to the location on where Izuku would meet with that of Principal Nezu, All Might, and possibly a few other teachers as well. Within wondering, knowing this has to do something with that of Kachan. The Keyblade was the only thing that was able to take down the Unversed. But, Unversed can be taken down by other means too. It's just, it would take forever to do so. Quirks are affected on that of Heartless and Nobodies, but they're just not as powerful. It looks like the same also goes for the Unversed as well. Now, knowing this, I'll be able to at least try to mitigate any damage done. But maybe maybe I just need to get to Kachan and then I could seal away his heart. But part of me really doesn't want to seal away his heart. Doing so is just basically putting him in a coma until all the darkness in his heart basically fades away. Who knows how long that's going to take. With then finally arriving as being one of the empty break rooms that normally and that all the other students go to, especially if you're in general course, support, or business. Within entering inside, seeing that of Nezu, All Might, Ectoplasm, Midnight, and Cementos. Within, Izuku couldn't help but gulp, realizing, oh boy, this is going to be quite something. Within, soon Nezu saying, hello there, Mr. Midoriya. It's a We're glad that you were able to come. We have quite a bit of questions we would like to ask you. Within, soon Izuku saying, of course, sir. What would you like? Within saying, okay. See, you're cooperating. That's good to know. But first question is, do you know of a man who likes to speak in riddles, jokes around a bit, and basically says that he knows you quite a bit? Within, soon hearing those descriptions, he's saying, Master, as it almost looks like Izuku having that of tears running down his face, already knowing where this is going. Within, Nezu saying, I see. So he is the one who trained you and taught you how to use your quirk, it seems. He also said that you were the key of preventing Bakugo from going on that little rampage that he did during the cavalry battle. Could you explain how somebody like you is able to stop Bakugo? Within, soon, Izuku couldn't help but scratch his back of his head saying, how much do you know? Within, saying, just a little. All he said is that you would be the one to stop Bakugo from going on that rampage again. Before I basically do something that I would regret, I need you to be completely and utterly honest with us. Not as pro heroes, but as your teachers. We're here to help you and the rest of the other students here, so you can all become that of great pros. Within, soon Izuku saying, I understand, but within, Aizawa walking up to Izuku, thinking that he's about to get that of a tongue lashing, but then placing a hand on Izuku's shoulder, within saying, Midoriya, I don't know what's happening, and honestly, it's really starting to annoy the hell out of me. But my annoyance is being pushed to the side, because all I can do is worry about my students being consumed with something. We've already made several theories about what is wrong with Bakugo, but we need you to clarify this. Could you please? Within, soon, Izuku, feeling at least a little bit worried, but seeing the look in Aizawa's eyes, not the same look of sternness of, judgment and also that of seriousness as always, but instead, the looks of a man who just really wants answers that would help everybody else. With then hearing these words from his homeroom teacher, words that he never thought he would ever have to hear at all. But then Izuku could help but take a deep sigh, and out of a deep breath, and saying, all right, but some of this may be a little bit over your heads. It's better if you were able to see things instead of me just explaining things to you. But I will try and do my best. So please try and keep up. And hopefully this won't take me for too long. I'm still pretty hungry after the cavalry battle. With that, Izuku began to explain everything about that of Heartless, Nobodies, the Keyblade War, him, and his master. However, he didn't bring up the fact that he is the Key Warrior, wanting to keep that a secret as much as possible, while also keeping the secret about his dreams, the dreams about the events of Kingdom Hearts as well. Now, taking in all of the words, it seems that many of the pros and teachers are a little bit skeptic. However, every word that Izuku says shows that he truly believes it. But also bring up things that now are at least coming to light for a little bit, for at least that of All Might and Nezu, at least. With that, Nezu thinking, so, the creatures of this world, creatures born from our darkness within our hearts, called the Heartless. And in the wake of a Heartless's birth, it creates it leaves behind out of a nobody. And creatures that are basically born from negativity, known as the Unversed, those are what Bakugo is basically consumed by. And the reason on why those creatures went on a rampage. Within, Izuku saying, yes, sir. I know it sounds hard to believe, saying, it does sound pretty far-fetched. It honestly sounds like something that you would hear from one of those childish video games, actually, that take their plots way too seriously. Within, soon, hearing that, Izuku couldn't help but have that of a sweat drop, saying, yeah, but I don't play video games, sir. Never been a big gamer, to be honest. I figured, but even so, you were able to open the door for a few questions I had, now having the answers that I need. For that, I must thank you, Mr. Midoriya. Within, he's saying, thank you, sir. Within, soon, All Might saying, young Midoriya, could I ask you a question? Within saying, yes, All Might, your quirk. You say that you were able to awaken your quirk because of a man in a black coat helped you awaken it. Saying, yes, it was when I was 5 years old. Tell me, did this man have to touch you to do so? Saying, not necessarily. I did tell you. He basically brought out his Keyblade, and with me touching that of the, hilt of it, I was able to awaken mine. Our quirks are very similar, so I guess it was one of the catalysts. The normal way on how a quirk user with a Keyblade awakens is mainly through that of intense stress. My master figured out a way for people like us with quirks like us to awaken them without having, to go through that intensity. After all, with hearing this, soon, All Might couldn't help but shake his head. Still a big skeptic, but just letting it be, saying, all right, thank you for what you said, young Midoriya. You can go now. With that, Izuku finally leaves the break room. Within, soon, Ectoplasm saying, you can't truly believe what the boy is saying, sir. Within, Nezu saying, pardon me, doesn't. I feel like there are still some things that young Midoriya is keeping a secret from us, but the rest, on the other hand, it truly does make quite a bit of sense coming to the terms. Especially the fact that young Bakugo does not have a secondary quirk, and it also comes into terms about the emotions that young Bakugo has been going through ever since he came back from UA. He's been quite aggressive, angry, disrespectful, many other things too. With this, I now have made my decision. Within, soon, looking at that of Midnight saying, Kayama, when it's time to go back outside to announce that a third event, for being the one-on-one battles as always, I want you to change the roster and normally they're always random, but this time I want you to make one that isn't. Within, Midnight saying, are you really sure about this, sir? Within, Nezu saying, I am sure. For the safety of our students and for two of our students as well. This needs to be done. Any repercussions or negative comeback, I will take full responsibility for. Until then, this must be done. With then hearing all this from their superior and principal, all of the faculty of UA stand behind that of Nezu's decision. They may not 100% agree with it, but they understand why he's doing it. Within, Izuku wondering, with all this happening, Kachan creating the Unversed, Todoroki declaring war on me just so he can keep up this pointless war with his father. And now I basically have to tell half of the truth to that of the staff of UA about heartless nobodies in the Unversed. I still kept the secret that Keyblades are still a quirk, but even so, knowing how smart that of Principal Nezu is, he already figured out that I'm still keeping plenty of secrets. Not only that, what kept me off really guard is All Might. asking if the master had to touch me to even give me my Keyblade. It was almost like he was suspecting the master to be somebody else, by any chance. I should probably look into this. Next time is probably the Key Warrior. Even though I normally take on that of Heartless and Nobodies, I can still at least try and get some information while I can. Don't like to interfere in Nad's pro business after all. But this seems a little bit too more interesting. With that, Izuku, now having a resolve to move throughout the sports festival. However, this resolve still continue to push him forward into what's to come through that of the remaining sports festival. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. Yeah, this was basically a short chapter. I wanted to explain the aftermath of the cavalry battle. Of course, that many of the teachers would be a little bit hesitated, worried about that of Bakugo being able to summon that of the unversed out of the open. And then you got that of All Might, worried that All for One got in contact with that of Bakugo somehow, possibly after their little suspension, to be honest. I know it's just basically his raging, horrible personality creating the unversed that basically run on a rampage. So now, it seems that Izuku has to be the one to clean up Bakugo's mess as well. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to keep to date my videos that I'm uploading to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my side channel, my other channel, my Patreon, and my Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon signing out. Later guys, I hope you all take care. Shiro Kitsune, do your thing, my lady.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!